Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age. Today is going to be my March goals as well as my February recap. So let's get into it. Hi guys. Okay. This month, gosh, I think that coming into February, I was so excited to be feeling healthy again that I planned way too much. I will be honest with you. I think that I planned too much. And not that I didn't have the time to do these things, but I kind of underestimated that I was still going to need some rest this month to recover from being sick for so long in January. And I was still not feeling 100% the first week in February. I was still very tired and such. I am feeling healthy now. I know I've gotten a lot of emails from people wondering if I'm okay, and I am totally fine now, but it really took me out. I have not been as tired as I was and just needing to physically rest as I was in January. So, anyways, I planned a lot for the homeschool break week that we are in the middle of right now. I am recording this a little bit early. It's not quite the end of the month. I will not do my March goals until next week. So this is kind of part one of this video, and it is possible that I will still get quite a bit done. Now, I have already crossed some things off. One of them was to do passports. Passports was on my list for January. It did not get done because we were so sick. February, it didn't get done because we had some other financial obligations come up, and passports are very expensive. I don't think I understood how much they were going to cost for us all to get passports, so we have not done that yet. I will probably push that out until next quarter. I don't think I'm going to have time to do that in March because March will inevitably be focused on homeschool and kind of finishing the bulk of our homeschool year. We will not finish homeschool, we won't be completely done until the middle of May, but I will be wrapping up a lot of subjects in March, and so I just know that that's not going to be happening. The other thing that I crossed off was planning a fun trip. I was hoping that we would be able to do something fun one of the weekends in February, but we have been getting snowstorms left and right in February, and then my dog was supposed to have surgery this week, and then we're not doing surgery this week, and so we didn't plan anything for this coming weekend because we thought we were going to be home taking care of the dog. So I did cross that off, and there is still a possibility that we will go do something next week, but it won't be like a trip type thing. It'll probably just be going out to the coffee shop or, maybe a little field trip or something. So my focus for this month was home reset and homeschool. You will see that I do not have many monthly projects checked off, and that is kind of unfortunate. I really thought that I would be doing a lot of decluttering during this break week that we have for homeschool, but it just didn't happen. And part of it was because my husband was home some of the time, and the dynamic of our house is very different when he's home. And I kind of forgot that he had days off around President's Day and stuff. So that kind of changed some things. And then we also got a lot of snow, which we were trying to get cleaned up and stuff. So it is what it is. Homeschool was really quite good. We got through everything that we needed to. We caught up on the things that we had fallen behind. Not that you can ever really be behind in homeschool, but the things that I had wanted to get done in January, we were able to catch up. So I felt good about taking this break week. So overall, I do feel really good about things. And my encouraging words were a sticker from Cultivate What Matters sticker books. One of them, I'm not sure which one. Good things grow over time, and that is definitely needed. I have to remember that create is my word for this year, but I also really wanted to focus on slow. Slow, I feel like slow is also my word of the year, and it really is taking a step back, resting when I need to, instead of pushing forward and just continuing to try to be productive because I have so many things on my to-do list. So I just want to keep doing the things. I'm really trying to focus on taking a step back and resting more. And so I did do that a lot this month, which is why I haven't done as many projects. Now, the first 3 monthly action items were relating to my passion goal and homeschool related goal. 2 of them, homeschool bins clean out. I did do that. I have a vlog about how I cleaned out all of our homeschool bins and I sorted some stuff. So it's in a different location now now. We actually have the bins in a closet in our living room, and that is working really well. So I did that. And then also getting my 2025-2026 homeschool brainstorm lists set up in my teacher planner. I did that. And so I'm really pleased about that because I am starting to see ideas for next year and I need a place to put them. The last thing for those monthly action items in that passion goal was a meeting with Emma. And this is something that I'm probably going to be doing pretty much every month with her, I think. But this particular one, I want to sit down and record it, and we just want to have a conversation about some of her thoughts about homeschooling, graduation, and finishing a year early, and all of the options for planning for the future and just some of that kind of stuff. I thought it would be fun. We'll see. I am planning on filming that hopefully either today or tomorrow. So I will definitely be crossing that off the list because it is on my schedule. I just have not done it yet. Then the next section was declutter, and I had 5 areas that I wanted to focus on. Primarily, I wanted to focus on our basement. I've done a lot of vlogs around cleaning out my basement and how we have this great homeschool space, and that's where I store all of our homeschool books except for our current books, which I have up here on my bookshelves in my office, and then the kids' current work that is in their homeschool bins. But I wanted to kind of go through all of the homeschool stuff, make the space a little bit different. We have a couple of different spaces in our finished basement. We have like this really large homeschool space. It's also where our ping pong table gets set up, but there's not a lot of room when we have desks and books down there in that space. We have kind of a den space with a couch and a chair and TV and video games and stuff. And then we have like an exercise section / toy section, which has all kinds of the kids' old toys and costumes. It has my treadmill, it has stair stepper, some weights, it has Emma and Lucy's doll houses and a kitchen that my husband had built when Emma was like 18 months or 2 years old, around then. And so we have a lot of stuff down there and it needs to be gone through. I would like to get rid of a lot of the stuff. Lucy doesn't want to get rid of the stuff. Nobody really wants to get rid of the stuff. But my plan is to move the homeschool books into that exercise space. So I purchased bookshelves and they were supposed to be here last weekend, and my husband had a long weekend, so I thought he would be able to put them together. Unfortunately, we had a huge snowstorm and so they got delayed, and so they are not put together, and I can't really start my process in the basement until those bookshelves are put together because it doesn't make sense for me to take the books off of the bookshelves that we have down there if I don't have a place to put them. And so I kind of just want to go through them once to sort them and into what we want to get rid of and what I want to keep. So I have to wait until the bookshelves are put together. My husband should be doing the bookshelves this weekend, so it is possible that I will still get a good chunk of the basement cleaned up before the end of the month. That is my hope. But if not, that is totally okay. We will just push it ahead. And honestly, I do a whole spring clean your homeschool thing. I have like a printable and all of this stuff that I go through and how I manage that as I'm closing up one year and starting to think about the next year. I will leave that linked in the description box if you're interested. This would have been the earliest time that I would start to go through that stuff, but I typically will do it, in April or May when I'm doing all of my other spring cleaning, but I'm also really considering a yard sale and would like to get rid of a lot of the books that are down there. I think that I am planning on keeping the majority of the books that are on the shelves, and I've boxed up what I'm willing to part with at the moment, but I still want to kind of go through things. I have some old science curriculums that I don't think I will use with Lucy, and then just some extra books. I have duplicate books down there that I don't know how I got duplicate books, but I have them. I just have some other just random stuff that I don't need to keep and I want to get rid of. Will it happen? Who knows? That is the hope, but I at some point need to just either let go of the stuff. I think what holds me back is that I know that so much is good quality and I hate to not get some money for it because I've spent so much money on so much stuff over the years. Anyways, the next area was my entryway closet, which I actually worked on yesterday. I did not completely redo the closet the way that I was thinking I might, but I have decluttered a lot. I moved the shoes into the basement that we're not using like every day, but I still need to do some deep cleaning in there and then kind of figure out how I want to manage the recycling and all of the mops and brooms and dustpans and cleaning stuff and the dog's food. I just don't know how to manage that closet. And I've talked about this. I did a vlog yesterday going through my entryway closet. I would like to get rid of the wire shelves because I don't find them very functional. Yes, you can get things to like put on the shelves to make it flat and easier to stack things, but I kind of just want like wood shelves in there. And I also use that as like backup pantry space. I don't know how to organize it. I will eventually at some point organize it. And all of those home books right here, from A Bowl Full of Lemons and Joanna Gaines and, the home edit, I think I just need to sit down and go through those books so that I can come up with a good plan or system for organizing that space. The next 3 sections were pantry clean out, fridge and freezer clean out, and the kids' rooms. The kids' rooms are pretty clean, but I do want to go through all of their clothes, and I don't think that's going to happen this month. I thought that it would this week. Again, I thought I was going to do a lot more this week of break week than I have. I don't know. We just had a lot of random stuff pop up that I didn't anticipate. And so it meant that I didn't have big chunks of time to work on projects. And so it is what it is. That is something that happens with goals when you are planning to do things at certain times, but other things pop up. It is what it is. So those were all of my declutter projects. I don't know that I will do the pantry, fridge and freezer, or kids' rooms this month. They will get done at some point. And it will probably be pieced together instead of spending, a couple of hours just doing the whole pantry. I will probably tomorrow when I'm getting stuff ready to go to the transfer station for my husband on Saturday, I will pull stuff out and just get rid of it then, but I won't like go through and clean and reorganize stuff. I don't know. Anyways. It's not been a very successful month for me, it seems. And then the last thing on my list is my monthly reset day, which is not until next week, and I will definitely be doing that. I did a whole series over in my membership community on how to implement a monthly reset, the things that I find value in, thinking days, all of that kind of stuff, what I focus on and why it's important to have that time on the calendar. So if you are interested in that, I will leave a link for it in the description box and you can check it out. For my weekly rhythms, I have homeschool planning, homeschool lists for my kids, which is something that I haven't been doing as much of in January. Part of that was because I was sick, and so that was a way for me to feel like I was back in the swing of things, to put those homeschool lists together each week. And that's really just listing the things that my kids need to do each day throughout the week so that they complete everything I want them to for homeschool. I have done that for the 2 weeks at the beginning of the month. Obviously this week is a break week, and next week I'm actually going to be doing homeschool planning right after I finish this video. So that will be done. Weekly planning I've done every week. Sabbath, taking a rest day each week, has been something that I have done. I have had a bunch of projects that I want to work on Sundays, but instead I take a step back. I remember that I'm trying to slow down, that I'm trying to take a rest day where I'm not trying to do all of the things, trying to just manage all of the things. It means that my Mondays are a little bit busier because I have to kind of do a Monday reset with laundry and tidying up the house and stuff, and food prep, things that I would typically do on Sunday. I'm kind of pushing off, and instead on Sunday I'm just spending time with the kids, doing some baking for fun, reading, relaxing. That has been my main priority. I do still do a lot of my planning on Sundays, but for the most part it's just kind of hanging out with the family, and that has been much needed. And then the last 2 are passion projects and screen-free days, and we have been doing that. Every week we have a specific day where we focus on passion projects, and then we have a screen-free day, and we've been playing board games, and it has been a lot of fun. I think that I actually have a vlog from one of our recent screen-free days, and so I will leave that in the description box for you. Then for my daily habits, I have been doing my morning routine very successfully. I wanted to get back into it because January was just a mess. I was still kind of doing my morning routine, but it was very brief, and I was just trying to get the basics done so that I could continue with my days even though I was exhausted. The next thing was to walk every day. And when I say every day, I just mean during the weeks, not the weekends. And the first week I was still not feeling 100%, so I did not walk at all until Friday of that week. And I've been averaging about 3 days a week where I'm getting down on the treadmill. So I'm pleased about that. I would like to obviously increase it. I think that as the temperatures warm up, we're still probably quite a ways away from that, but as the temperatures warm up, as the sun is out later and up earlier, I am more motivated to get things done. When it is so dark all of the time, I'm just not motivated. And my treadmill is in the basement, and even though we have a really nice space down there and it's finished, it's cold. I don't like to turn on the heat because oil prices are so high, and so I just don't like to go down there. Getting on the treadmill at least 3 days a week, I'm pleased about that. The next thing is to read, and this means to read in the afternoon, not just reading at night, which is my default. I pretty much read every night before bed, and whether or not I finish books or not, that's another story. I did my reading update, and it was rough because I've been in a bit of a reading slump since Onyx Storm, but I've wanted to pause during the day to read, like in the afternoon after we're done with homeschool, and I can just kind of take a break. That's part of my slow focus for 2025, and I have been pretty successful with this. And I'm really happy about it. It's not like I'm reading for an hour. I would love to sit down and read for an hour, but even if I do like 15 minutes, I'm pleased about that. And then the next thing was read with kids, which I have been doing most days. I had gotten out of it in January because I was so sick and I did not have a voice for an entire week, and so I couldn't do any reading, so I wanted to put that back on the list. Part of it is homeschool related, but part of it was also me getting back into Kingdom of Ash with Emma, which we have been reading for it seems like a really long time. It's 980 pages, so it's a very long book. So reading that with her, I wanted to get back to that because I want to finish it this month. And then the last thing on my daily habits, I actually crossed off, and this was yoga with Emma and Lucy. I have wanted to work on yoga and get into a practice again. This is something that Emma and I used to do frequently in the evenings, but we got out of practice and I have not implemented it at all. I actually crossed it off because I have not checked it off. One day this month, I crossed it off probably about 10 days into the month, realizing this is just not the month for me to implement that habit or try to implement that habit. So instead, I just crossed it off, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with crossing things off. Now, you will see that I have not crossed off all of the declutter projects because we do still have a week left in the month, and I am hopeful that I can get through those projects just so that I can get back to baseline and get back on track with things. But if it doesn't happen, I'm okay with that. And that's just one of the things that I've learned over the years. I do want to make progress in these goals. I want to make progress in making my house the home that we want to live in. And there are projects around that every year. Some are very similar because we always have new stuff coming into the house, even as much as I try to not have new stuff coming into the house, it inevitably does come into the house. So I'm okay with crossing things off of my tending list. I'm okay with leaving things on there that do not get a progress bar. That is okay with me. If you are somebody that needs to see the check marks or see some progress, and there are parts of your tending list that you're not able to get to in a month, use whiteout and just white them out so that you are not looking at that. And then you can either carry it forward or you can reassess and assign it in a different season, or maybe it's not as important to you. So overall, February was not a great month for my goals. I did accomplish quite a bit in January and I felt really great coming into February, but then the first week of the month I was not at my best, and it kind of snowballed from there that I just didn't get back on track with what I had wanted to get done. And then also having the bookshelves delayed kind of threw off my plans as well. So that's okay though. We are going to be looking at a brand new month, and so I'm going to turn the camera around and we will set up March together. Okay guys, so I filmed the February recap last week and I've not made much more progress on my monthly projects. Now, I will actually still have Saturday and Sunday as part of the month of February. I will not start my March goals until the 3rd. So it is possible that on Saturday, I will just all of a sudden have a burst of energy and get a lot of stuff done. Mainly my basement organization and pantry and fridge and freezer. We will see. I have my little goals notebook where I've taken a lot of notes for March because it's been crazy. It really has been crazy this year. I know I've mentioned it multiple times, but I'm going to mention it again. So I don't know if I necessarily have anything that I really need to write on this break it down section. I might. And the reason is because I've kind of been jotting down ideas and crossing things off and adjusting things in my goals notebook. So that's kind of what I'm going off of in order to do my tending list. But I do kind of want a couple of things down here. Number one is declutter, which I really did think I would do more of in February, especially with that week off. Honestly, when I filmed my February goals, I was finally feeling healthy and had energy, felt excited about February. My monthly reset was great. And then the first week in February, I did not feel well again. And so it kind of threw off my momentum for going into February. And then we were just trying to finish up homeschool for the first term of second semester. And then a series of events happened the week of our homeschool break, and I didn't get the things done. But I do want to work through them. I have kids' clothes that I need to work on, the kids' books, because I'm only going to keep the books that they absolutely want to have in their rooms. Right now, they have tons and tons of books in their rooms. Jack really doesn't reread a lot of books, and neither does Emma. So I don't necessarily think she needs to have, or he needs to have, all of those books upstairs. Plus, I'm shuffling stuff around in the basement, so we will see. I want to do the basement homeschool books section. I want to also do the unfinished basement because I've just been stuffing things in there, which is not great. The only other project related to the basement, which isn't necessarily decluttering, is to set up craft/teen space. And so I'm going to kind of shift some of the furniture, I think, down there, get our ping pong table set up. We'll see when I get down there what I actually end up doing. Now, the problem is March is a pretty heavy homeschool month. It's kind of the last 5-6 weeks of school for us. My older two will still have some things that they carry on into most of April, and Lucy will probably have a couple of things that she carries on into April. But because we start in July, our days will be done, right, I think at the end of March, and the bulk of our homeschool work will be as well. So because of that, I know that I don't have like a ton of time during the week to work on these things. So I'm fully focused on using my weekend time to work on personal goals this month. I do not typically write my goal-related projects or steps in a calendar because my time is pretty fluid, and when events or things come up, oftentimes I want to be able to do those. So I do leave a good amount of margin in our schedule, but it really just depends on the month. Again, I'm just crossing my fingers that we have a healthy month. I know that we have some appointments and such in the month of March, so that will be another thing that could impact how much I'm able to get done. So that's where we're at. Okay, those are all for my goal of creating a sanctuary at home. All of this stuff, I've talked about decluttering so much, and I have really decluttered so much over the years, but I've never been good at the de-owning part of decluttering, which means do not bring new stuff into the house. And part of the issue for that is that I have children who grow every year, multiple times per year actually, and so we have a lot of new stuff that comes in from that, and then also homeschool related stuff comes in. And because I have such a wide range of kids, Lucy is 4th grade and Emma is senior in high school, I can't just get rid of all of the books. And I have boxed up all of the books for the early elementary grades, but there's a lot of grades between 5th and 12th that I have a lot of books for. So for my create meaningful adventures goal, I'm hoping that the weather will be nicer so we can get out more. I'm just going to put adventuring here, but some of the main things that I want to focus on this year are some of the weekly rituals that we have in our home. You may hear Emma running on the treadmill. So if you are wondering what the banging is, that is Emma on the treadmill. So I want to focus on these rituals, and some of those things are things that we have been working through and working on for the past several years, but I've wanted to focus on them and really make them days that we want them to be. So the first is our Passion Projects Day, and each week we have a Passion Projects Day where the kids do kind of like math and English and then spend the rest of the day working on their passion projects. Now, towards the end of our homeschool year, or towards like the end of a semester, when we are kind of finishing up curriculum and stuff, sometimes it's very easy for me to say, oh, let's try and get some more stuff done on this passion project day, and I will schedule more stuff on their lists for the week instead of still giving them space to focus on their passion projects. And so I've really been trying to make sure that I leave space for their passion projects. The other one is Screen Free Day, and that is a day where not only are we off of screens for fun, but we are also off of screens for school. And so for Lucy, that's not really a big deal because the only screen related thing that she does right now is teaching textbooks. But for Jack especially, the majority of his schoolwork is done like online. He's doing a computer science lab course that's all online. He has Japanese where his lessons are online. He does have book work to do, but there are videos that he has to watch. His math is online. So trying to adhere to that and mainly focus on analog learning is definitely challenging, especially in the high school years, but I want to give that space because I think it's important to kind of take a step back from all of that screen learning. And instead we still are doing school, but we're doing it mostly offline. I'm able to print out math lessons instead of having them be on the teaching textbooks website, and then they can just enter their answers on Monday and we move on. He doesn't do computer science necessarily, or he's not watching his Japanese videos. He's just doing book work. He's mainly focused on reading and writing and not necessarily typing up reports, etc. So continuing to adhere to that is important. The other thing that I want to do is 1 trip per week. So these are all weekly rituals, and this 1 trip per week can be going to the coffee shop, it can be going to the library, it can be going to Barnes & Noble, it can be going to a museum, it can be going on a larger field trip if we want. It's not necessarily like a big vacation type thing or big travel thing. While that would be fun, this month is not it for us. And I definitely have been thinking about the passports and whether or not we will actually get them before Q1 is done. I'm not even going to put it on my list. I think it's going to be more of a just if I can get an appointment and Matt is available, my husband is available to come to the appointment so that we can get the paperwork all signed and whatnot, I will do it. But we don't have any international trips like scheduled at the moment, so I don't feel a huge rush for that. So we'll see. All right. I don't think that I have anything else that I really need to write down here. I think everything else I can just kind of put on the next page. And honestly, I really didn't need to do this either because I do plan to just have these 3 listed on the weekly rhythms section, but I am just going to put declutter on the monthly projects. My priority for the month is really just to finish up homeschool, I think, or the bulk of homeschool, and I feel like that's what it is every single month. That is what my priority is. Is it the priority? I don't know. I really don't. Okay, I think I fixed the treadmill. It was off balance. It was driving me crazy. Okay, so first, I don't have any encouraging words. We're just gonna go for it right now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to put for my monthly action items, or projects, I call them monthly projects, is declutter. And I already broke that down on the break it down section. And I think that if I make some progress, I will be happy. I will be very, very happy. I feel like this month, a lot of the things that I want to do are actually more daily habits and weekly rhythms. So I will put passion projects, screen-free day, and I'll put day out. And then I also have weekly planning, which I don't necessarily need to write this down because it is pretty consistent, but I do like to have the reminder of it. I also want to put Sabbath, and that is a separate tech-free day for me, and also a day where I do not work or do a bunch of productivity things. It's really challenging for me to not work on that. So yeah. And then let's see, what is the other thing that I want to do? Homeschool planning. And this is going to be twofold. And in fact, I probably should put 2 things, because March is when I start to brainstorm for next year. And I did get my list set up, which was part of my February goals. But now I also need to make sure that I am starting to brainstorm. And while I would like to say that it could just be a monthly project, I will do better if I just have kind of a weekly check-in about that. I think that that will be the best idea. My coffee is leaking on my Powersheets. Oh goodness, guys. Today is a rough one, I feel like. Then the next thing that I'm going to put on my monthly action items is my Florida album. And yes, this was a 2024 goal, even though we didn't go to Florida until April, and I did not put it on my goals list, I don't think, until maybe the summer or fall. And I made a huge amount of progress. There were a bunch of setbacks, like my pictures came all out of order, so I had to go through and resort them. Some of the pictures were not good quality, and so I had to weed them out. And then I just kind of had to figure out how I wanted to arrange them. And then I ended up filling up one photo album, and I need to go back to Hobby Lobby and get more photo albums. So that, because I have a ton of pictures. So I am just going to make a line in the middle for that. I want to have read on here. I want to have 1 line a day. I want to, which is in my Erin Condren Life Planner, I want to start working on the kids' 5-year journals again, because I fell out of that habit very quickly in January when I was sick and did not start it again in February. But that was something that I was going to try and do weekly instead of daily. I'm going to wait on that for the time being, and we will see. Because I also did not do my 1 line a day in January, and then I started doing it the first week in February, but then stopped for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, okay. I want to have walk on here, and that is walking on the treadmill, or if for some reason all of the snow goes away, getting outside would be lovely. My annual checkup, which is part of my wellness goal. I also want to consider what I want to create. My word of the year is create. Part of that is creating new habits and rhythms and systems, and relating to my home, my family, my own personal wellness, but create also in the sense of creating like physical things. For instance, my photo album from Florida, or knitting or sewing or gardening or whatnot. all of those things qualify in that create feeling that I have, but I don't know what I want to create. And part of that is because I create a lot with regards to my work. I do a lot of content in my membership community, on YouTube, on my website, but I also want some of that tactile creating as well. And I'm unsure what I want to do. I used to love gardening, knitting, sewing, cooking, baking, all of that stuff, and I still love it, but I'm less inclined to do it now. And so I just kind of need to find some joy in those creating things again, or just find a project that I'm excited to work on. Not joy, but just excitement around a project so that I will want to do the project and won't decide to just put it off because I can. I need to do a meeting with Emma. I need to order her diploma, which we started looking at all of the options. I didn't realize there were so many options when it came to ordering a homeschool diploma. So we were kind of going through all kinds of different things. And also my meeting with her is to talk about future planning. It's also just I've wanted to record a podcast with her, or like a video, just to share some of her thoughts about homeschooling and such. We also need to kind of figure out senior pictures for her. We have some really fun ideas just based on the number of books she's read over the so many years. I have my monthly reset / 13th week. And that 13th week is my quarterly reset, my seasonal refresh. It's starting to think about the next season. For me, that's just April and May. And that's because I shorten my year. I don't plan new goals really in December. I have my 13th week, or my quarterly refresh week, as being the 31st through April 4th. But my scheduled monthly reset day is actually the 27th. And so it doesn't make sense for me to do my goals on that monthly reset day, but I can do everything else on that monthly reset day. This whole 13th week is something that I have been exploring a lot lately, not just in regards to goals, because I do a seasonal refresh every season for my goals, and I write out new action plans, and I always film a video and share that with you. I also want that week to be focused on education for myself, renewing myself, resting, doing a home reset. Usually my seasonal refreshes correspond to a particular point in our homeschool year, or in our seasons in Maine, where I need to shift around what we have available. Winter stuff gets put away, spring stuff comes out, gardening, all of that kind of stuff. And giving myself a full week for it is not something I've really done. I mean, I do take weeks off from homeschool, and then I try and do a lot of home reset stuff during those weeks, but oftentimes I've noticed that it does not work that way. We either have a bunch of stuff that we want to do outside of the house. We have a lot of doctor's appointments that I've loaded up during that week, because it's easier to do it on an off week than it is to do it while we're in the middle of homeschool. So anyways, I am going to be trying it out this quarter to kind of see how I like it. It's not going to be something that is automatically a new rhythm or habit for me, because number one, it's only seasonal. So I would only be doing this a few times a year, because I do like a whole yearly reset usually in December. So it's also kind of a trial. We'll see if this works. It happens to be right at the end of our homeschool term as well. So I don't know how that is going to turn out. I'm unsure, but I do want to kind of have this week to focus on all of these reset things that I've been considering. And I've been talking about it over in my membership community a little bit, and we'll be spending a lot of time over the next month talking about how I'm going to work on this 13th week. And then I also did a series on my monthly reset days over this previous month. So if you're interested in that, I would love for you to come check it out. That link is always in the description box for you. Okay, I want to revisit the home management tasks, and I have to some extent. I kind of did that a little bit at the beginning of the year. I was able to, let's see, put my new projects down for January through June. I've not been successful. January was a mess because I was sick. February, I did most of these things, but I was hoping to catch up in January. So I do want to kind of focus on these. Oh, I already have my 13th week in here. So here I was thinking ahead. That's very good. So I just kind of need to consider all of this stuff, as well as my daily tasks, my monthly cleaning tasks, and my seasonal cleaning reset tasks, just so I have a good handle on them. I've been spending a lot of time this month focusing on chores with my kids and kind of adding in new tasks for them and how to implement that well. In fact, several weeks ago, I talked about this whole video that I was working on how to create a good chore routine for your kids so that you are not asking them to do the chore, they're automatically doing it. And I filmed most of that video, but I have not filmed the second half where I go through kind of what we're doing and how I've implemented that. So I kind of need to finish that as well. Then I want to print pictures, and this is part of it's part of my restful rhythms and systems, but it's also kind of partly for creating, because the system is getting the pictures off of my phone and printed or transferred to the computer if I want to keep the image. But a lot of it is just printing pictures and deleting pictures off of my phone, so it's not all gummed up with the pictures. The only thing that I did not put on here is my 5-year journals. So what I'm going to do is put my 5-year journals down here. And I think what I'm going to try and do is, if I can add another step to my morning routine, that might work. It might work for me to do that. I'm not 100% on when I can do this. It is something that I want to do daily. And my morning routine has been really good the past couple of weeks, but that doesn't mean that it's going to continue to be good. I've been doing kind of my daily planning the night before, which is not something I ever do. I almost always, forever, will get up in the morning and plan out my day. I mean, I've been doing that since I've had kids. I've been doing it every day. Prior to that, like between getting married and having kids, I didn't do that as much. But then in college, in high school, I also did a daily plan. So that is a very ingrained habit for me to get up in the morning and make out my list for the day and time block my day. But I have been doing it in the evenings for a couple of weeks, and it has actually worked out pretty well. And so I have a little bit more time in the morning. I don't know if I have enough time to do this, because when I see 5-year journals, I'm thinking I need to write in each one for each of my kids. It shouldn't take me that long. It should only take me about 5 minutes per journal. Well, we'll try it out, and we'll probably have to try a few different times working on this. It is something that maybe I could do in the afternoon after the kids are done school for the day. I could maybe fit it in there. I'm not sure, but I am not going to worry about when. Ideally, it would be first thing in the morning, but if it's not, that's okay. We can try some different times and see how it works. Okay, now I'm going to add some stickers. Okay guys, so here are my March goals. We will see how it goes. If I get this entire declutter progress bar, I will feel really good about things. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you are looking for more help and encouragement around home management and homeschooling and goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community. Again, that link is always in the description box. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.